Yeast donut today. It's gonna taste better than Krispy Kreme. Okay, in a bowl, you can put all the ingredients. Eggs, 1 egg, and we're gonna have warm milk. Make sure your milk is warm. It doesn't matter how you put in the ingredients, as long as all go in the bowl and the milk is warm. Then you have your butter. Once you get the liquid in, then you can put the yeast in. Mix that up a little bit. You see, I'm using a scale to be more exact because I'm making a smaller recipe. So when it comes to cups and it's not as exact as a scale. But I will put in this description under cups in case you don't have a scale. But like I said, in baking, to have a scale is the best equipment you can have in your kitchen. Put in the yeast. Going for 3 grams here. Some sugar. 0 out. And sugar. Going for 20 grams. Or 1.5 tablespoon. And if you like it sweeter, you know, a recipe can always be altered to what you like. And we're going to give this a good stir. Bless it. Bring it to 0 again. Okay, the flour goes in. It's going to be 140 grams. I'm going for. Okay, a little bit over is okay. This went 143, no problem. And now we're gonna do salt, quarter teaspoon of salt. Now we're gonna give this a good mix. And then you can knead this by hand, but I'm gonna put through the dough hook because I'm gonna let the machine do the work. But once you know, the quantity is really small, so it's better that you form it into a dough first. And then we'll move it to a dough hook. Great consistency right here. And until it starts moving in the dough hook, you might have to just, because the dough is really wet, you might have to just put a little bit more flour in. That's all. Now the dough has been transferred to the dough hook. You can start up. Move it to number 4. And we just let the dough beat. Looks like I'm going to add in half a tablespoon of flour at a time. You see the dough is pretty wet. You can see that half tablespoon of flour is all we needed to start climbing up the dough hook and releasing itself from the bowl. So it just needs time to about maybe only 3 minutes or 4 minutes. I'm going to bring up number 6. Let's see what it does after a minute. Let's just put in a teaspoon of flour here to help it for the bottom. The low flour time, if you put in too much flour, then your donut will not be as tender. You have to have the right amount of ratio of water to flour. And it all depends on the humidity, how much your flour has absorbed. So it's a matter of watching your dough. It's looked great. Just that little teaspoon of flour have lifted the dough ball from the bottom. So it's only been a minute and a half beating. So I think it should go on for another 2 minutes and we should be all set. A total of 4 minutes has passed, and I think the dough is ready. I'm going to take it out and let it rest. Take that bowl and spray it, and put your dough in there, and we're going to let it rest. Spray your dough and put saran wrap over it. Wrap and put it over the dough, and we're just going to wait until it double inside. Donut recipe number 1 has double in size. You can see this one has flour in it with warm milk, and all of them have melted butter and sugar and yeast. So this one, we're going to put a little flour in our hand, and we are going to sprinkle this lightly. And you just pull it out, see? It comes out right easy when you... And you really, because it's such a small dough, you really don't need a rolling pin. You can just press it out with your hand. Because we want the... You don't want it to stick when you start cutting. You see? You just press it out with your hand, and you can start cutting the donuts. So I bought a smaller cutter so it'll be easier to cut. Once you cut you want to cut it so that way it'll be close to each other, because you don't want to re-roll it, because the donut will be nice and will be tough. I'll show you what to do with the leftover. You can make a little donut scrap, or you can make apple fritter out of it. Okay, you can save this for apple fritter, or you can just fry them up and eat them as scrap. They're delicious either way. But here, I got a smaller ring here, and you can cut it out. But then you have all the extra dough here that you can make. That you have to you can make donut holes, or you can just use your finger, and just that's how you make a hole in the middle. The key here is you have to let the donut rest on wax, because once you have to let this rest so it can double in size, or at least size and a half, and then you can just lift up the wax and put it right into the frying pan. So cut up a little small wax paper and put it in. I like to be nice looking, so I'm going to make apple fritter because I have some apple. That'll be the next recipe. Put right on the wax. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nice donut with a hole in there with this ring cutter. Or you can... And how about this one? We're going to put a hole in here. Put a pinky finger in. And just stretch it. So that way we won't waste the dough. So we have this whole pile here. You can re-roll it, but I find that when you re-roll it, your donut won't taste as good. But it's great for apple fritters. Okay, so we leave it aside for apple fritter. And now we let this rest. Put saran wrap over it, and once it puff up, we can start frying. Okay, we set the oil up. The donut have rise. Now I have a thermometer, and you want to be at 335. So right now my temperature is at 335. But if you don't have one, just grab one of these little donut holes that you have, and as long as they a small gentle bubble, then you know it's good, because you don't want to cook the donut too fast. So I want to make sure that the temperature is okay. See how's your bubble are nice and small. You don't want them cooked too fast. And we're not cooking chicken here, so we want a nice golden brown. So you know they have small bubbles right here. That's good. You don't want large bubbles. So as long as they have those small bubbles, we can start adding in the donuts. See, so that's how with the wax, you can just flip them in like that. And you don't want to crowd the donuts. So let them fly like that. And this is great for, you see, these already come out. The donuts are done. And put right into the sugar mixture as well. It's getting a little bit too brown. So I'm going to put it right into the sugar mixture. Put these. In the meantime, we can take these out. Let them glaze in here. See, but this one's nice, not too brown. We can add the other two in. Okay, let's get this one out. Okay, glaze them. And let's put them in there. That's good. All done. You can use a tongue or just do one chopstick as well. But you know, I know how to use chopsticks, so I'm doing two. And we just do that. Flip it. And flip this one. Oh, I've got to leave one. Let me leave one out, because we can roll them in cinnamon sugar or powdered sugar. And this donut I'm going to put in cinnamon sugar, shake it in a bag, be the quickest way. So you put sugar and a little cinnamon, as much cinnamon as you like. Look at that. Then that looks good. Number one recipe is done. I did most of it in glaze, because my family like glaze. But we have one cinnamon sugar here. So my sister, Laura, will try. Go ahead.
Nice and warm. Good flavor. Good texture. This is definitely something that you can make on Saturday morning.
Does it melt in your mouth?
It's melting in my mouth.
All right. Mom turn.
Mmm. Delicious. Light. Moist. I must say it does better in your mouth.
Is it better than Krispy Kreme?
Much better.
Why is it better?
Light. Very good.
Why is it better than Krispy Kreme?
Because it's light. It's crunchy. I like the crunchiness of it on the outside. It's not too sweet. It's just perfect.
All right, viewer, there you got it. Now we got 3 more other donuts to try.